Daja kia ora, my name is Nikita Tu-Bryant. I am a performing artist based in Wellington, and I grew up in Huang, Auckland, and currently I am workshopping my first original play called Waits for No Man, episode Grace, or 岁月不饶人, as in the name Grace. It wasn't until my 20s that I realised the importance of actually reconnecting with your roots. The blood that runs in your veins is, that's really, really important. And I realised that when my great uncle passed away, and it had been 10 years since I had seen him, and I wrote this song called Tide Waits for No Man, and it was basically the idea of, I haven't seen this person for 10 years, but I used to know him. I probably didn't really know him when he died anymore. And yet I feel this grief, but how do I grieve for someone that's essentially a stranger, and I'm essentially a stranger to my own land.
I'm not sure if
Yeah, there's like a little prologue in the beginning where you first meet the two characters as shadow puppets, and then later on it gets a little bit more abstract. I reckon you guys could encroach the same tempo, but just go a little bit slower.
Yeah, within the because that's not properly lit. I just wanted to see the shape
Like that?
But into the circle. I also hadn't gone back to Taiwan for about 15 years. And then the year that I went back, I was 24, and I had started writing the show. And then when I went back, and I realized that nobody knew who I was from my family, and I was seen as a foreigner, but then in New Zealand I'm also seen as a foreigner, so figuring out like who your community is. And now the show has kind of evolved into coming to learn about your family roots and your history, but also you've become such a different person. And so how do I marry who I have become today with who or what I'm expected to be in my family? When I was growing up in Huang, Auckland, and I felt really, my dad's Pakeha, and he'd call me my Chinese name out in public, and I'm like, Dad, don't do that, it's like super embarrassing, call me by my English name, and so I think like when you're a kid and you are used to the stereotypes, like really negative stereotypes, you kind of start doing this real Kiwi thing, which is self-deprecation. So you kind of take the piss out of yourself, and you if you're like the token Asian in your group of friends, then that's what you do in a way to like protect yourself, because you're like, well, if I say it first, it doesn't hurt if someone else says it because I've said it, so it's okay, I've given permission. But what I realized was, it didn't really make me feel good. I think it's similar to some comedians, they can be self-deprecating, but actually it perpetuates this like belief, like, oh, this part of me, this part of my identity is not okay. So I was a part of a production a couple of years ago called Call of the Sparrows. So I composed the music, and I was also one of the actors on stage, but I was kind of like playing the music and being this weird fisherman person. And it was an all Asian cast. And I think when I was growing up, I think I hardly had any Asian friends growing up. And definitely being able to create art with like an Asian group of people, there's just like this cultural, it feels like home. It feels like home, you've got your whānau, and it's like the things that we laugh about and the things that we joke about, we don't even if we don't know each other, like it just exists in our culture. So that was really, really been fun. And that's definitely, so yes.
Yeah, you found your tribe, yeah.
Yeah, totally.